This is Gemara Avodah Zarah Daf Yomi Ches, and we're holding on the bottom of Yud Zayin Amud Beis on the first very wide line as we continue discussing the terrible events surrounding the persecution of Rav Chanina ben Tradion. Says the Gemara again on the first very wide line. Aisyu Rav Chanina ben Tradion. They brought Rav Chanina ben Tradion for trial. Rav Chanina ben Tradion, they brought Rav Chanina ben Tradion, Nachamol Amar Le, and they said to him, Sakta Baraisa, why are you doing that which they found to be illegal? Why are you being Isig Bataira? Amar Lo, Rav Chanina ben Tradion responds on the second to the last line, Kasher Tivani Hashem Elikai, like Hashem has commanded you. God at that moment, Kazra of Serifa, they decreed he shall be burnt. He and his wife are going to be killed, and his daughter will be sent to sit in a yoshev, in a tent of a zainais. All of l'sreifa. So they sent the Rachlina ben Tradion to burning. What's the reason? Shahaya, because he would, as we turn over to Yud Chesam and Aleph, Hunach es Hashem ba'is Yosef. What did Rachlina ben Tradion do? He would say the Shem Hashem according to his letters. Says the Gemara of Heicha Avid Hachi. How did he do this? Vatanan, but we learned in the Mishnah. Elu shein lechiluk layim abba oimer ein termin hashmayim ve'in tchias amizan atayra and avashal oimer yadon avahiga es Hashem b'is Yosef. How is he allowed to do this? Says the Gemara, l'Islam made of it. He was allowed to do it. Why? Because he was teaching Torah. And with that, we learned the incredible rule. Teaches the Gemara Kidatanya, 6 lines down. L'Islam made lasis. After lame lavin. Don't teach to do, but you can teach to understand. So says the Gemara. So what did he do wrong? Explains the Gemara. Misham Haiga es Hashem v'Resed Ave, because he said Hashem Hashem in Bifarasia, in public. Continues the Gemara about the rest of his family. Why? She did not protest. Mikan Amru, from here we learn out. Call me, she each be other limchos, anyone who could protest. They'll get the punishment. Why? Amru kama nois, how beautiful is the steps, the gate of this young woman. Immediately they were medactic, they paid careful attention. I know Damar Reish Lakish Shimon Lakish Vaydach Sev Avoin Akeva Yisichenu Avoin Sha'adam Dash Ba'akeva Bailam Hazeh. Of course, all figurative, but the avera that we trample upon, Mesuki Lailam Abab, is going to be able to still be brought to Amabo with the proper tshuva. Continues the Gemara, Bisha Sheyatsu Shlashtam. When all 3 of them left the Bezdin, the Din Torah, says the Gemara, Bisha Sheyatsu Shlashtam. When the 3 of them, Rav Chanina ben Tradion and his family, went out, Sidku Aleim Esadin. They said they were Mitzadik Esadin, who Oimer had Sortamim Ba'alai, without any questions at all to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but rather complete acceptance. That's what he said. Ve'ishtay Amra, his wife said, Elamuna v'inavel, and Pitay Amra, Gadol Eitza v'rav ha'alilim, Sheineka b'chucha isakol derachai v'goymer, shows the Gemara the incredible emuna of Rav Chanina ben Tradion and his family. Amar Rebbe says, Rebbe, Kama Gedoyla Tzadikim Halalu. How incredible are these Tzadikim? 5 lines for the medium-sized line. Shalizam Lem Shalosh Mikrais Shal Tzidik Adin. The 3 occurrences of Tzidik Adin occurred to them. Bishas Tzidik Adin, precisely at the time of Tzidik Adin, the time in which Hashem is at complete din, is when they were able to be mitzadik as Adin. So continues the Gemara. Tana Rabbanan. Kshachal Rav Yosef ben Kisma. Halach Rav Chanina ben Tradion levakir chayla. So Chanina and Chadion levakir is going to visit Rav Yosef Kisma. Ve'am levakrai. Amar Loi, Rav Yosef says to him, Chanina, Achi, Chanina, my brother, Yati Yodea, She'uma Zum and Hashamayim, said to Rav Chanina, do we not know that Uma Zum and Hashamayim and Lichua, from heaven they've imposed rulers, this terrible kingdom, that what explains the Gemara in the first one, which has destroyed basically the house of Hashem, and V'harguas Chasidav, V'avdai is toivav, and caused the good ones to perish. V'adayin, and yet he kayamis. V'ani shamati alecha, and continues. Kisma, and I heard about it to Yoshev V'isik B'Teira, that you, Rav Chanina ben Chadion, are sitting and teaching Torah, Makil Kilos Rabbim, to the public. V'sefer Munach Lech Lekechon, there's a Torah in your lap. So he asked Rav Chanina, why is he endangering his life? Amar lo, he continues, Rav Chanina ben Chadion, on the fourth line. Min Hashamayim yirachamu, Hashem will have mercy. Amar lo, ani oimer l'chad dvarim shel tam. V'ata amar li Hashamayim yirachamu, I'm telling you stam sense, telling you to be careful. And you're responding that Hashem will have mercy. Tamani, I wonder, says Rav Chanina ben Chadion, says Rav Yosi, Tamani mos rafti eschas sefer Torah baish, if they do not burn you and your sefer Torah in fire. Amar loi, so now Rav Chanina says back to Rav Kiva, Amar loi, Rabbi Mani l'chay olam haba, what's with me in olam haba? Amar loi, Klom I said, anything happened to you that you didn't do correctly? Amar loi, Moi shall purim this chavli, Moi shall tzedakah, v'chilaktim l'aniyim. I mixed up the monies, so I gave it to aniyim. Amar loi, Rav Yossi responded, Kein mechalcha yechalki, u'megayralcha yigarali. Says Rav Yossi, my portion should be like yours, showing the incredible portion of Rav Chanina ben Chadion. Amru loi amatim, says the Gemara, was not even a few days. To bury him with speed gadol. On the way back, they find Rav Chanina ben Chadion sitting and teaching Torah. Makul kilos baram sefer Torah munach. Loi b'cheika yavio v'karkua b'sefer Torah. So they take Rav Chanina ben Chadion, and what? Karkua b'sefer Torah, they wrapped him in a sefer Torah. V'kivu b'chavli zmayrais. We notice in the Shur Brugim Malchus, and they put a piece of wool on him. V'isisu b'henes har, they lit the fire. V'aviu shvugin shel serem, they brought wads of wool. V'sharin b'mayim, soaked him in water. V'aviu nicha aliba, they put on his heart, so he does not die right away. Kedesh lo teitzi nishvasa mehira. Amra Allahi. Biti Abba Erech Becha. So Rav Chanina's daughter said to Rav Chanina, Abba Erech Bekach, how can I see you as such? Amar Lam. So responds Rav Chanina, Mali lo nini shavti levadi, if I was burnt by myself, haya davar kashali, that would have been difficult. But Al Shav Shani, this Shav is Sefer Torah Yimi. Misha mevakesh el boinoi shall sefer Torah vakesh el boini. So says Rav Chanina ben Chadion, now I'm not concerned. However, the one that asks for the mercy of the sefer Torah, Kadosh Baruch Hu, he will as well take care of me. Amru loy talmida Rabbi Mataraya. What do you see, Amrlan? I see Gil Yaines Raf in the sefer Torah itself is burning. But the ice barachais, the letters are flying off. Avata b'zachmicha. So says Rav Chanina ben Chadion, talmidim to him, open up your mouth and allow yourself to swallow the fire to hasten your painful death. Amar lehan mutav sheitz lenu bishen nesi v'ayachavalu atzmai. So says Rav Chanina ben Chadion, it's better that they should take my soul, and I personally will not, and I will not inflict any harm to myself. So the fire is raging. Amar like Kaletzroini. A certain executioner says, Rabbi, Mani marbe b'shaleves v'noitel sfugin shel semer. Ma'alibcha tevenu l'chelim haba. If I take the wet wool off your heart and they hasten your death, will I not go to elam haba? Amar lehem Hein, yes, and the executioner says, Ishmaeli, swear to me, Benishvalai. Miyad, Harbi B'Shalavas, he raised the fire, V'notal Sfugin Shel Semer, and he removed the tops of wool, Me'al Liba, and from his heart, Yatza Nishmasav, and here he dies right away. V'avu, and he, the executioner, Kafat, he jumps, V'nafal L'teichar, he jumps into the fire. Yatza Baskal, V'amra, Reb Chanina ben Jadyoin, Vili Katzteroini, and also the executioner, Muzumanim Ein, L'chayei, Ha'ilam Haba, you're going straight to Ilam Haba. Bacha Rabbi V'amar Nacham, all the same Rabbi that we keep on seeing, Yishkan Lam Shachas, Yishkan Alamai Kamashan. Continues the Gemara, 6 lines in the bottom, the story of Rechlina ben Chadion's family, Beria, the Visudra Meir Beria, the wife of Rav Meir, Barata de Rechlina ben Chadion, was the daughter of Dina ben Chadion of Ayamar Lai. So she says to her husband, Zili Bimil, it's disgraceful, Diasa Chotai, Bekubish al Zainais. As we saw, her punishment was that she was sitting in the house of Zainais. The sister says that's such a disgrace. Shakal Tarkuba Didane. Rav Meir takes the Tarkiv of Dinar and Basel Amar, Eloi Yisavid Ba, Yisura Misavin Isa. So says Rabbi Meir for himself, if I don't do an Aveira, a miracle will be performed for her of the Yisura, but if she has done an Aveira, not he himself, he's talking about she, but if she has not done an Isser, then what? Loiva Yisura, then he's Avid Lanisa. Also, Meir went to disguise himself as one of the Romans. Amar La Ishmani Li. He pretends to be a customer at the Beis Zainais. And he says to the woman, his sister-in-law, Hashmini, sleep with me. Amar Li. She responds, Dashtana, I am by the way of woman. She's saying that she is experiencing nida, she is bleeding. Amar La. So he says to herself, Misrachni Mirsach, I'll wait for it to stop. Amra Lei. She says to him, the Fisha Tuva, it's a lot of blood, Vika Tuva Acha. And there's other people here. Why do you need to wait for me? There's other women to be Mizana with. The Shapir Mina that are prettier than me, Amar Shma Mina. So says Rameir, I see from here, Lo Avda Yisura, called Da'asi, Amr Le'achi. She must speak to all people like this. He's in disguise. She doesn't know it's actually Rameir. Also, Legabi Shemer Dida. So what happens is Rameir goes to the Shaimer and Amar La, Havani Allah, give this girl to me. Amar Le, Mistafinu Me'achus, I'm worried of the government. Amar Le, Shakal Tarkuba Dinra, take these Tarkiv of Dinarim, Palga Plach, half of it give us a bribe, Palga Lavi Lacha, another half you'll have in your own. Amar Le, V'chishalmi Maya Avid. So says the Shaimer, and if I run out of money, what should I do? Amar Le, Rameir says, Imam Eloika de Meir Aneni, famously he says, say the master of Meir should save me, umitzalta, and you'll be saved. Amar Allah, the guard says, as we move over to Yilchas HaMibeis, umiyemar diyemar, umiyemar dachika. How do I know it's going to work? Amar Allah responds to Meir, hashta chazis. You're going to see, Avihanu kalbi davika achli inchi, there were dogs that would bite people. Shakal kala shada behu, and what happens is Meir took some earth and he threw it at them. They were coming to bite him. And Amar Meir says, Allah de Meir aneni, the guard of Meir, answer me shavkua. And what happens? The dogs stop the avalei and leave him. The Saifish time milsaki malka. Eventually, it came to the government. What happened? Asu askua is kifa. The Romans brought up this shemer for a child. Amar Alaka de Meir Aneni, and the Shemer says, the God of Meir, answer me. Achtu Amar Le Mai, the Romans brought him down and said, what's going on? Amar Lo Achiavi Maisasu Chakul de Musa. So the guard told him what happened. Also Chakul de Musa de Rameir Pischa de Raimi. There came and engraved similar to what looked like Rameir on the gates of Rome. Amrun, they said, called the Chazi the Partsufa Adin Lacy. And they said, whoever sees someone with his face, bring him to the authorities. They wanted to capture a mayor. One day, they saw him, they ran after him. Mayor ran to the Beis Zainais. So some say he saw a pot of cooked food. he dipped into the food with his finger and he sucked on the other finger, pretending to eat the bishalakum. Others say, others say, Eliyahu came appearing as a Zaina Karachte and embraced Rameir. So the Romans either seeing that he's eating treif, what they thought was treif, or seeing that he's embracing a woman. Amru, they said, Chas Shalmi Rameir Avav, this was Rameir Lavadachi, no way would he would do this. Come, they got up, Arak Asal Bavel, and Rameir got up and ran to Bavel. Ikad the army, some say, Mehaimaisa, some say he went to Eretz Yisrael, because of the above story of Ikad army, Memaisa Deburia, but either way, Rameir is able to run away. And with that, we're on the first white line, and we go back to the original topic of the Mishnah, which was different buildings that one is not allowed to aid the Goyim in building. One who goes to a stadium and he sees Nachashim, he sees these snake people, snake charmers, all different types of clowns and jesters, different people that used to perform for them. It's a place of leitzim, it's a place of scoffers, of jesters, and on them the pasuk says, Ashrei Hoish, the first pasuk in Tillim, Asher lo yolach, that does not go to such a place. V'goymer, ki b'seiris Hashem chavsai, halamadata. What do we see? Shadvar malol mevin zon de bittul Torah. This brings a person to bittul Torah. Ask the Gemara of Raminu Alchem l'Sadiana Mutter. If someone goes to a stadium, it's Motiv Nation Zavach Umatzil, because you can shout and you can scream and you can rescue a gladiator that's fallen. So there's a purpose. Ulekarka Mutter. Why am they Yosha Medina? Because get relief for the city, but actually, as long as you're not counted amongst them. So says the Gemara, so Gemara wants to know what's going on. Is he yes mutter or is he not? So explains the Gemara. Was he counted with them? However, explains the Gemara, it's machlekes tanoim tani detani nochel tzadadim nei Moshe leitzim Rav Yochanan matim nei shnei dvarim. Yochanan says it's mutter for two reasons. Number one, echel nei shetavach umatzi, you can save on the gladiators. Echel nei shemamid edus isha la'asiyah, because you can testify in the victim's wife to allow her to remarry. Continues the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan going to other places of Gayim. We're in middle of the very wide lines on Yud Chesem Abeis. The first one on line is La'asiyam. You cannot go to the theaters and to the circuses. Why? Because they get together for a different reason. Because you have to be worried about the etzma Avodah Zarah. But if not, then you have to be worried that it's not a place of scoffers. The difference is in a case where he trades with the people there. According to Rameir, it's aser because we have to be chayshin for Avodah Zarah. Or according to the Chachamim, it's going to be mutter. Darish of Shimon Bazi Maidich saved the aforementioned Pasuk Asher Shalach, but says Hashem V'derech Yitzrayim, V'derech Tzadikah, V'derech Chatoyim Loi Amad. Excuse me, where I lost the place. Asher Shalach, but says Hashem V'derech Chatoyim Loi Amad. If you didn't go, that's as Rishayim. What does it mean? V'derech Chatoyim Loi Amad, Heichon Amad. Me'achas Lo Amad, if once you're not there, Heichon Yashav. So what's going on? What's the progression in this pasuk? Says the Gemara, you know what? If you go there, you're going to end up stand. If you stand, you're going to sit. Explains the Gemara why it will not be allowed. And now we go involved in the topic of leitzanos for a few quick moments. Yisurim ba in love, he's bringing Yisurim upon himself. Shenamar, Va'atal tisloitzitzu, Penichasku Maisreichem. Amrlu Rava says Rava l'Rabbanan b'matu sabina min eichodoi tisloitzizu. I beg you, do not become a late till a lacy or likely Yisurin. I don't want you to have Yisurin. Amar Rav Ketina, kol misleitzit mizaynesa mismatin. His money is going to be diminished. Shenamar Mashach Yadai es leitzits him from the scoffers. And the third consequence of Shemban Lakish kol misleitzits nafal begehenim. Shenamar Zayd ya leitz. Zaydia leads Shemai Oise be'evra Zadain, Vein Avra Ela Gehenim Shemer Yoim Evra Yom Ahu. We see the terrible power of Leitzanas. We'll stop over here. We'll pick it up in the more stories of Leitzanas and Mirza Hashem.